morning, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is your chain reaction report. And yeah, I said I wasn't going to do this, but I am. This is my fully thought out hot take on Kyle Rittenhouse. And, I didn't actually come on the day it happened. I kind of, let this initial bullshit go by. Read about a lot of stuff, did a lot of thinking, and was on my way to my local dispensary this morning when I had an epiphany of sorts. So, let's talk about Kyle Rittenhouse for a minute. So, look, this isn't an indictment of the system. This isn't an indictment of Kyle Rittenhouse. Well, actually, on some level it is. Do I believe Kyle Rittenhouse was just a good kid carrying an AR-15 around? No, I don't, actually. But I believe you learn from your environment. So let's just leave it at that. It's not even an indictment of the police. What this is, however, is just another step in the chain to where the right wing wants us to go. So let's understand this. There are memes out there showing Kyle Rittenhouse with his little weapon plowing down the streets, and the meme content, the words are protecting America because no one else will, or something like that. Listen to me. Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't protecting America, okay? The notion that we would have citizen vigilantes carrying out the job of the police, and then after they kill somebody, they don't go on trial because they were protecting America, is insanity. You open fire, you shoot and kill two people, maim another person. Generally speaking, you go on trial, no matter who the fuck you are or what your fucking ideology is. Now, clearly, the prosecution didn't make its case clearly enough. The defense made a case for reasonable doubt. And Kyle Rittenhouse got off. But Kyle Rittenhouse is neither a hero nor deserves to be a congressional aide anywhere in government. What Kyle Rittenhouse is a symptom of an American problem. And we have a nation where fully 32 states allow permitless open carry. I'm not sure people really realize that, but Tennessee and Texas just joined the Loon Squad recently with permitless open carry. And permitless open carry means, in many cases, automatic and semi-automatic weapons. And don't correct me if I say automatic and say, oh, it was only semi-automatic. It is what the fuck it is. And these weapons exist for one reason. They are not used for defensive purposes. They are not used for hunting. They are not used for anything but to kill numbers of people. So let's not quibble over semi versus fully. We don't have an automatic weapons ban of any kind in this country. The George W. Bush administration took care of allowing that to expire, even though the original law was put in by his old fucking man. What the right wants is wide open gun carrying nation of fucking vigilantes here to protect the American flag and to make America great again, to protect buildings from looters, so now we can redefine looting as punishable by death. If indeed this is what these people were doing. I suggest to you that Kyle Rittenhouse was the creator of what he defended himself against. Kyle Rittenhouse went there to create problems, and that is the plain and simple fact. You can follow his actions before the shooting and see that. Kyle Rittenhouse was a perpetrator who managed to get himself in a pickle, shoot somebody, be chased by people, and then having to defend himself against them. They were unarmed, by the way. He was not. Lucky him. He got off. Not only does the right wing want this kind of an atmosphere in America, and they do, and there are people in our government who do as well. The Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the Lauren Boeberts, the Matt Gaetzes, the Madison Cawthorns, all of them. They're all insurrectionist politicians. There are 148 Republicans who voted to overturn this election based on false information and lies. And that is how the right wing works in this country. There are 1 million, more than that, more Kyle Rittenhouses out there. And this kind of activity, these kinds of gun laws, these kinds of open carry situations are all there just waiting to be used. And this is the problem in America. This is more an indictment of the lunacy of the gun laws in this country than anything else. And the notion that I could ever have supported direct democracy with the people in charge, it's mind-boggling to me right now. I would never get on that bandwagon again. Ever. It is not something I will ever espouse again. I have literally thrown all the banners away. I've thrown all of the literature away. It's gone. If this is the kind of law enforcement we're going to face with the people in charge, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. It is not Kyle Rittenhouse's place to bring people to justice. He's another fucking citizen, and that's all he is. He does not need to protect buildings with semi-automatic weapons. Let me make sure I get it right before I'm corrected again by another right-winger. And don't remind me, please, that there were a lot of people on the streets that day with weapons, because I know that, and that's exactly what I'm saying. We had a group in Boston not long ago who insisted that they were not bound by the laws of our state, Massachusetts, because they were Moors. They were actually walking around the woods off of 128 near where I live with automatic weapons, saying that they didn't have to adhere to the state's rules of weapons because they were Moors and they were not bound by any other country's laws. I remember somebody saying to me that they saw him on television and he was very articulate and they weren't worried about him. So apparently if you're articulate now, you can't be a bad person either. You can't be fucked up in the head and you can't be a fucking idiot. But that is not true, because his little group of people in another state managed to seize somebody's house, a black person's house, under the laws of their Moorish nation, and have her thrown out, a house that she was living in. They're all right-wingers, folks. And they're all masquerading as freedom fighters. and they're not freedom fighters, and they're not defending America. They're not making America great again, because America isn't great. In fact, America wasn't great before. It became much less great, or much less on that path when Donald Trump was elected, and he has left a bunch of fucking lunatics in our government right now. I am so taken aback by everything I see that some days I just really don't even want to do it. But I am going to tell you this. I realize that I can get more readers if I had taken the anti-vax path, which I almost did until I started looking up the deliverers of the message and the fact that they have absolutely nothing to prove what they're saying. Nothing. Zero. I have spent hours on this, and I can tell you right now, I don't know many more people on Facebook who spend more time investigating shit than I do, than maybe Dave Denton. Nobody. 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 I dare you. I have also worked in the sciences for many years before my retirement life. I also remember being a parent. So please, spare me all the nonsense. I could be much more popular if I continued on that way, but I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm not interested in building my brand. I'm not interested in any of this. What I'm interested in is making people understand what's going on here. I'm in the middle right now of working on a multi-part video. It'll be all one video, but it has to be recorded in segments because there's a lot of information. And I'm sorry it's taken so long, but it is. And this shit just distracted me this morning. Stop painting Kyle Rittenhouse like he's a fucking hero. He's not. He's a vigilante. He's a vigilante who was 17 years old and on the streets with a semi-automatic weapon. I believe someone told me his mother was on the streets with him. Like I said, you learn this shit from your environment. Nobody comes out of the womb like this. We don't need a nation full of Kyle Rittenhouses with weapons to do the job of the police department. And I dare say, and I will say this again, had Kyle Rittenhouse been a member of Black Lives Matter, had his skin been a different color, he probably wouldn't have lived long enough to get to trial. So to tell me that you're tired of talking about racism, I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm fucking tired of talking to you about this shit every fucking day. A bunch of people who can't hear anything. A bunch of people who can only think in sound bites and memes. You tired of hearing about racism? Too bad. It's here, and it's real, and it's every single fucking day. And it's not just racism, it's transphobia. It's anti-gay. It's anti-anything that isn't what the right-wing's vision of America is. And they always use religion on you, and religion's the biggest piece of shit system in this country next to capitalism. And by the way, let me explain something else to you. All of these talking heads where you have to pay extra money for their enhanced content, how you see that as freedom fighting and not capitalism is way beyond me. You also reside in Dumbfuckistan. Kyle Rittenhouse is no hero. He's a thug who got off because he had a good defense attorney. End of story. It doesn't need to be any bigger than that. The big story is that we have a nation full of fucking right-wing lunatics who have been empowered by the orange jackaloon. And now we are looking at a group of people, although they are smaller than the majority, it does not matter. They have the guns and they're looking for civil war. And that's really what we're looking at here. If you see these people as freedom fighters, I suggest to you do some soul searching because there's something fucking wrong with you. I'll talk to you all later.